Hey guys, this looks like a fun one. We're given 4 squares inside of a circle and it wants to know what is the area of the circle. If you want to try this on your own, pause it right now because I'm going to solve it in 3, 2, 1. First, I want to identify these points where the squares touch the circle. And I also want to find the side lengths of these squares. Since the area is equal to 16, each of these sides will be equal to 4. Next, I want to look at some formulas for circles. We have the area of a circle is equal to pi r squared. And we also have the equation of a circle is equal to x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, where hk is the center and the radius is equal to r. So to answer the question, we need to find the area of this circle. Next, let's look at this other piece of notes. This is the equation of a circle. If we have a rectangular coordinate system and we want to graph a circle, this is the equation to do it. For example, let's look at a specific circle. Let's do this one right here that has a center at 6, 5 and a radius of 3. In the place of the h, we plug in the 6. In the place of the k, we plug in 5. And in place of the r, we plug in 3. This is the equation for this circle. Now let's take our circle and stick it on the coordinate plane. And I want to move the circle to align this intersection point with 0, 0. Next, let's identify this point. Well, the x coordinates can be equal to 0, and the height of this point is the same as the square. So this point is going to be at 0, 4. And let's also find the coordinate for this point. To find the x coordinate, let's see how far back we go on the x-axis. We have 4, 8, 12, and 16. So the x-coordinate is going to be negative 16. And then to get the y-coordinate, we're going to go down one side length, which is equal to 4. So this is going to be negative 4. Now we have 3 points on our circle. Let's find the equation of the circle that goes through those 3 points. Let's take this equation and let's copy it down 3 times. For the first one, we're using the point 0, 0. So let's plug in 0 for the x and 0 for the y. For the point 0, 4, let's plug in 0 for the x and 4 for the y. And then for this point, in the place of the x, let's plug in negative 16. And in the place of the y, let's plug in negative 4. Now we have 3 equations and 3 variables. Let's solve for those variables. All 3 of these zeros can disappear. A negative times a negative is a positive. So the quantity negative h squared is the same thing as positive h squared. And the same thing for the negative k squared and the negative h squared. They change into positive k squared and positive h squared. Next, let's focus on these top 2 equations. These are both equal to r squared, so we can set them equal to each other. So we have h squared plus k squared is equal to h squared plus 4 minus k squared. For the first step, let's subtract h squared from both sides of the equation. We end up with k squared is equal to the quantity 4 minus k squared. 4 minus k squared is equal to 4 minus k times 4 minus k. After we multiply that out, we get 16 minus 8k plus k squared. Now we have a k squared on both sides of the equation. Let's subtract k squared from both sides of the equation. On the left-hand side, we have 0, and on the right-hand side, we have 16 minus 8k. Next, let's add 8k to both sides of the equation, and we end up with 8k is equal to 16. Let's divide both sides by 8, and we have k is equal to 2. And now that we know that k is 2, we can change all of these k's into 2. Let's clean things up a little bit. Let's start inside these parentheses. 4 minus 2 is equal to 2, and negative 4 minus 2 is equal to negative 6. Next, we can take care of these squares. 2 squared is equal to 4, 2 squared is equal to 4, and negative 6 squared is equal to 36. These top 2 equations now match. Let's get rid of one of them. And for these 2 equations, these are both equal to r squared, so let's set them equal to each other. On the left-hand side, this negative 16 minus h squared is the same thing as negative 16 minus h times negative 16 minus h. After we multiply this out, it becomes h squared plus 32h plus 256. And then we can bring down everything else. We have an h squared on both sides of our equation, so let's subtract h squared from both sides of our equation. And I'm thinking in the same step, let's also subtract 4 from both sides. On the left-hand side, let's bring down the 32h, and 256 plus 36 minus 4 is equal to 288. And on the right-hand side, all this stuff cancels to give us 0. Let's subtract 288 from both sides of the equation. That'll give us 32h is equal to negative 288. And then after we divide both sides by 32, we get h is equal to negative 9. Now we can plug in negative 9 for all of the h's. This x minus h will become an x plus 9. This h will become a negative 9, and this negative h will become a plus 9. Now let's clean things up again. The quantity negative 9 squared is equal to 81, and 81 plus 4 is equal to 85. This technically is all we need to finish, but I kind of want to make sure that this equation will match. Inside the parentheses, negative 16 plus 9 is equal to negative 7, and negative 7 squared is equal to 49. 49 plus 36 is equal to 85, and both our equations give us the same thing, that 85 is equal to r squared. We can now update this r squared to be 85 and this r squared to be 85. And pi times 85 is the same thing as 85 pi. Let's give it a label of square units and let's put a box around it. How exciting.